one of the greatest, I think, scorers, along with guys like Kobe, that I've played against in my career. I don't think on a good night there was any way to stop Melo from having, 30 or 40 points.
I want to start with the team that drafted you, the New York Knicks. They've clinched a playoff berth, but they've sort of, existed in this 3 seed all year with the Celtics and the Cavaliers ahead of them. Do you think that this team is built to compete with the likes of the Cavs and the Celtics?
Well, first of all, being a Knicks fan now, I'm a Knicks fan in the East and a Warriors fan in the West. To say that we've been just existing in this 3 seed, I think a lot of Knicks fans from the last 20 or 25 years would certainly take the storyline of existing in the 3 seed because it's been some tough years, but they put together such an impressive and deep team. And I've been to a bunch of games this year up at the Garden, and I think that they certainly can compete. I think if you look at it on paper, Boston probably has the best team in the league right now, and I know they've had some injury problems throughout the year, but they're so stacked and they're playoff tested from last year and a few previous years. But I think really the Knicks, something that could be like a blessing in disguise, is I know Brunson got hurt and has missed a couple of weeks, but there's a scenario in my head where he comes back rested, and not having played so many minutes down the stretch, and comes in with a lot of energy, and rejoins the rest of the team that's now had a chance to step up in his absence. And I think they have a chance to really do some special things. And you get into a 7-game series in the second round against a team like Boston, or a team like Cleveland, who's had an incredible season but has not been deep in the playoffs with that group, and I think anything can happen. So I got my fingers crossed for the Knicks and for the Warriors out west.
Right. You guys just missed playing each other in New York, but I'm sure you saw the news that Melo is going to officially be in the Hall of Fame. Could you describe his impact on the game and why you think he's deserving of that nod?
Absolutely, and yeah, we just miss each other, but unfortunately, I had to play against him many years in the NBA, and some of those times playing against him when he was in Denver, when he was in New York, and some of the matchups, he just was an absolute nightmare to play against. And I've gotten to know him even better since we've stopped playing, and seen him at some Knicks games recently, and just awesome guy, a really good dad. You can see what his son's doing now coming up, so really, really proud of him. And it makes me feel old that guys from my generation are now going into the Hall of Fame, and that makes me feel like, our days of playing are definitely past when guys are starting to do that. But so proud of him, and one of the greatest, I think, scorers, along with guys like Kobe, that I've played against in my career. I mean, there was just certain times when his mid-range jumper was falling, and he's able to get to the basket and create contact the way that he does. I don't think on a good night there was any way to stop Melo from having, 30 or 40 points. So he's one of the special ones, and absolutely well deserved.
Yeah. Switching over to the West, the team you won a title with during your career, the Golden State Warriors. Another team sort of, looking at some powerful teams in front of them, but you know as well as anyone never to count out somebody like Steph Curry. So with the addition of Jimmy Butler, do you think that the Warriors team can make noise in the playoffs?
I think they can. I think similar to the East, I think in the West right now, you have Oklahoma City, who's clearly been the best team record-wise throughout the regular season, but they haven't had much success yet in the playoffs, being as young as they are. So I really think that's what really opens the door for everybody else. And you have a lot of teams that are playoff tested, a lot of the players on the Warriors, a lot of the players on the Lakers, a lot of the players on Denver. You even have guys on the Clippers like Kawhi that have had a great success in the playoffs in the past. So I think the door is wide open in the West. And I think if you would have asked me this question a couple of months ago about the Warriors, I would have probably given you a really positive, kind answer. But I don't think they had much of a chance. But this addition of Jimmy Butler has really, I think, brought their swag back a little bit, and I think has really re-energized the team, and I think has given them other options so that Steph Curry doesn't have to take 50 shots a game. And with that help, you've seen Steph play even better and look more rested. So I think they'll have a chance. It should be interesting to see who they play first. They'll either most likely have Denver or the Lakers first round. So those are going to be two incredible series no matter who they play.
Absolutely. You were there when the dynasty started in Golden State in, 2015, which is kind of crazy to believe that that was 10 years ago. But
I know.
what do you remember most about that championship run that sticks with you today?
I think more than anything, just the relationships that were formed. I mean, we had one of the better teams that year, but I firmly believe the fact that we got along so well as a team, and we worked together, everybody played their role, I think was really the reason why we were able to take, a team like ours that hadn't been very deep in the playoffs and make it all the way to the championship and win it. So I'm really proud to have been a small part of kind of the start of that, and looking back now, I take a lot of pride in that, and they've certainly taken it and run with it and done an incredible job since then, and really proud of those guys. I still keep up with Steph and Clay and Draymond and all those guys, and Andre, and it's really nice to see how some of those guys I can't believe are still doing it on the level they were doing it back then. I mean, to see that Steph and Draymond are still out there is pretty crazy to see 10 years later. But really proud of them, and once again wishing them the best.
Quickly on the MVP conversation, it looks like Shea kind of has it close to wrapped up, but you can never count out the Joker who's playing, another dominant year in Denver. So, your pick, if you go on DraftKings, who are you picking to snag that trophy come season's end?
I think so much of this is people get in their heads kind of who they want, who deserves it, and then they go with it. It looks like Shea, as you said, has it pretty wrapped up, and well deserved. I mean, their record is unbelievable, and he's been the catalyst for that team all season long. I watched Joker play the other night when he had that, I can't even remember now. It was like, 40, 20, and 20 night or whatever. And I just happened to be watching a game that night and caught that. And then the other night he has 60, 10, and 10. Some of these numbers that he puts up, I feel like I had a few nights in the NBA where I had like 30 and 20, and I felt like I scored every basket and got every rebound that was out there. And to see that he's doing that almost on a consistent basis is incredible to watch. So I think both of those guys are very deserving of it, but it sounds like you're right that Shea will get it, and well deserved, and they've had an incredible season as a team as well.